because I honestly didn't plan on ever rapping again or using it as a medium to reach people. So I honestly feel it's him who propelled me into the current position that I am, and just to share with others the gospel message by using music as a medium, as a evangelistic tool, or whatever people may deem it. But it's an art, and in art we express ourselves. So it's just me sharing and expressing my faith.
Black Newborn here. Welcome to the Gospel Coalition Africa podcast. I have a privilege and pleasure of sitting with a friend today in this episode. I'll let him introduce himself and he'll tell us who he is and where he's from. Bro, please tell us who you are. Where you from?
What's up, Black man? How you doing, bro?
Good in you, man.
That's great, man. It's Codi. I hail out of the East End now, currently living in Boksburg, but I'm originally from El Dorado Park, yeah.
Where's the East End, bro?
The East End is east of Johannesburg, man.
Right, east of Johannesburg.
It's like the hip-hop hub, man.
We see you, Doug. Cool, man. So, we're going to have a conversation a bit about what you've been doing, what you getting your hands dirty with. I think it's cool gospel work, and I think it's worth having a conversation about that. Somebody might be listening, and that they'll get some encouragement.
Yeah.
They'll get some zeal sparked in their bones, so that they can also go get their hands dirty and muddy for the sake of the gospel. But I don't want to steal your thunder. So you've obviously been working in townships, you've been working with orphanages, working with schools. Can you tell us a bit about that work? What have you been doing?
I wouldn't say I'm the one that's doing the work, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd rather say that it's God working through me, because I honestly didn't plan on ever rapping again or using it as a medium to reach people. So I honestly feel it's him who propelled me into the current position that I am, and just to share with others the gospel message by using music as a medium, as a evangelistic tool, or whatever people may deem it. But it's an art, and in art we express ourselves. So it's just me sharing and expressing my faith. So this has allowed me to go to many places, from schools to many churches as well, children homes, where I meet a lot of kids, who are struggling and who are in desperate need of hope, who struggle with their faith, and this allows them to kind of find that again, faith, hope, and
so,
also discover
so
life.
For somebody who doesn't know, these places that you work in, can you kind of paint a picture for us? What do these places look like? What are some of the issues that they're facing? What are the family structures? Because obviously you mentioned that you're dealing with a lot of kids and youth. Paint us a picture. How do these places
I'd honestly
look like?
say that most of these places are very impoverished. There are a lot of drugs. It's like a drug epidemic that's going on. So this is like rippling through these areas, so it's impacting it a lot. There's fatherless homes as well. Some kids don't even have parents, they're being raised by grandparents. So there's just kids facing a lot of difficulties, pressure from the world, pressure from their peers, and so most of these people struggle from where they are, and they never think that they're going to get out of these situations that they're in. So this honestly has allowed me to kind of show them that I'm also from that same position, from these, and I've learned to kind of carry on, my faith through.
So obviously you grew up in Eldos. And then later on you were in Boksburg. But so for somebody who doesn't know where Eldos is it similar to the places that you're describing now?
Yeah, definitely. Eldos is especially a place that's struggling with the drug epidemic right now. It's changed the place entirely, and the youth are in danger. Because they're being exposed to it, and that's the only thing they're being exposed to. So they think that is life. So it's quite tough out there. For many other areas, it's not only Eldos, it's across the country, across the world. this epidemic is hitting.
Did you get yourself caught up in that kind of stuff?
Yes, I honestly did. Also because I was only exposed to that for a period of about 12, 13 years. I did dabble with a lot of strong substances. But because of the gospel, because of Christ, I managed to overcome that. And I wouldn't say I did, but he did show me a way out. And I want to show others that way out now.
Yeah. And can you briefly just probably tell us, like, when did that happen? So obviously you're growing up in an area that is consumed with drug abuse. You get yourself wangled in that kind of stuff. And by the grace of God, he pulls you out.
Yeah, true.
So briefly, like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? That God pulled you out of that situation and caused you to follow him.
Wow, I think it took a lot of near-death experiences, honestly, because I was very stubborn. Honestly, I was very stubborn, and I didn't understand the mechanics of addiction. I thought I could do it of my own strength, and I could quit this, I could stop this, but I kept going back and back and back, and until a point came where I asked myself, like, is this really what my life is about? Is this really where I'm at right now? Is this what I want to be? Is this what I see myself as? So those self-reflecting questions helped me to start looking for hope elsewhere, because I couldn't find it within myself. So of course, I had heard about Christ, I had heard about Jesus, and I'd heard about how he could transform and how it could change my life, and I tried everything else. So for me, it was sort of like a last option thing, but it actually worked. It actually worked, and I discovered.
And when did you hear the gospel? What was happening when you heard it?
When I truly heard it, when I actually accepted the truth. I was sitting in rehab, in a church in rehab. I'd been 5 weeks clean. I had been reading the Bible, but I was refusing to accept the Lord as, my Lord and Savior. I was still dabbling and struggling with understanding that, why God had to send his son. I didn't understand why that had to happen, or why that had to occur. So I was sitting in the rehab, and apparently the sermon that was being preached was about me, in a sense, not like it was directed at me, but I could relate to what was being said that day, and I was just compelled. I felt this big like scream inside of me, like, no, it's time. And
I remember you telling me that you were sitting next to your friend.
Yes, I was actually. We both were in rehab trying to recover.
And so you get up going to answer the call of salvation, and what does your friend do?
He grabs my arm. It's like, where you going, bro? I'm like, yo, bro, it's time. I was like, bro, it's time. And I don't know why that happened. It sounds like a movie, but I'm telling you, that's what he did.
He's pulling you back. It's like, nah,
yo, bro, what you doing? I'm like, bro, it's time, bro. Come with. And he refused. He continued to sit where he was, but I knew it was time.
And you accepted the Lord then, man.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord for that. And fast forward, obviously, he's using you as an instrument in his hands.
Wow,
to go back to those communities to share the same gospel that has saved you.
Yes, that's true.
So can you run us through what happens typically? So obviously, if somebody hasn't picked up, but you're a rapper,
that's true,
and that's what you're using to reach out to the communities that God has placed you in. So run us through a typical event. So what happens? You get there, kids jump on you. What happens?
It's never really like that. Most of the time when I go to these shows, I am so anxious. The only confidence I have is that God is with me. So through a lot of prayer, as well as being around believers as well, like, no, we're doing this for the Lord. So we try to remember what the objective is. So that keeps me afloat. And by the time I get in front of the kids, it's normally always a new song, since I just started out again. So I'm always like trying to get them to interact. So what I do is normally teach them the chorus quickly. And once we get into that, man, it's more about relaying the message than anything else, because I'm more concerned about content than I am about, the hype. The hype. That's true. Yeah.
Sure. And obviously you share Christ with them.
Yes.
How's the response to that been?
It's not easy with everybody, because everybody has their view, But with certain kids, they need of hope, and when they hear that, they can find that. Because a lot of us struggle with despair, in these times, in this age. When they hear they could find that, it's like, I also believe that most of them have already experienced Christ and God in some way.
Yeah.
So this just kind of, and so it just opens them up to the gospel.
Sure.
This past weekend as well, like a lot of kids accepted Jesus Christ. I was so shocked.
Yeah.
And I was just happy to be a part of that whole process.
Yeah.
I was so excited, and it's just been great. I just believe this is what I've been called to do.
And what would you say to somebody who's listening to this, and they have a niece, a nephew, a cousin, a brother, a husband, wife who's struggling with addiction to drugs? What would your word of encouragement to them be? Yeah. For somebody who's like, I'm crying out, desperately looking for hope for this person, how would you encourage them to go help their loved ones?
I honestly believe that what kept me going is also love. So the people who were trying to get me off the drugs constantly showed me love, no matter how many times I failed.
Yeah.
But my favorite step really is acceptance.
Yeah.
See, once we accept that this is a problem, we find a different way to approach it. So we need to be very serious about how we're going to address this problem. You understand? I know not everybody understands the mechanics, but you need to be serious on how you're going to address the situation. So for me, it was accepting that I'm an addict.
Sure.
And later on, when I heard the gospel, it was now accepting that I'm a sinner. You understand? So acceptance is my favorite step. And once we can accept that this is what we've succumbed to, and we can admit that we need help, and we can admit that we need a savior. I think this can lead us into great things, and our testimonies can change lives. So for those who are struggling with addiction, when you overcome this and you share your story with others, it gives them hope. You understand? It gives them what they've been searching for their entire life.
Thank you so much, bro.
Peace, man.
Appreciate that, bro. And we'll continue praying for the work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Continue linking up. We think that what you're doing is really cool.
Much appreciated.
And it's needed, you know what I mean? So God does use music, and it's a powerful medium, it's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids and youth respond to it. And so we want to infuse the music that we do with the only power that is true in the world, and that is the gospel.
The gospel.
Nothing else, man.
Nothing else.
So, man, thanks, bro.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much for the opportunity, man.
Yeah, man. That was Codi. Thank you again for listening to the Gospel Coalition Africa podcast. My name is Black Newborn. Please do check out all our other podcasts on our website, and follow us on all our social media. So you can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram. We're there. Please do check out all the other content that we do, man. Thank you. Grace and peace.